Welcome back to Primetime. We just finished telling you that summer of 2020 was a tumultuous time for our country. As protests turned into riots across America, police somehow became the main target of the outrage. This Defund the Police movement led to a mass exodus of officers across the nation, as well as a major rise in crime. Just look at the surge of shootings in Democrat-run cities in 2021. Chicago has seen a 10% jump, Atlanta up 18%, Los Angeles a 22% rise. But perhaps no city has been more impacted than Seattle, where shootings are up 35%. In June 2020, protesters overran the Seattle Police Department's East Precinct. Rioters would establish an autonomous zone, a lawless area, which saw 14 assaults and 2 homicides over 3 weeks. In response to the mayhem, the Seattle City Council foolishly decided to downsize the police force. But Seattle's police chief, Carmen, could not sit by as her fellow cops lost their livelihoods and the underserved people of color she swore to protect were left without protection. So Chief Bess did the honorable thing. She resigned from her post in August 2020. But she's now speaking out with her new book titled Black and Blue, detailing her experience. And Chief Bess joins me now. Chief, thank you so much for your service, not only to the country, but to the citizens of Seattle. I covered that story. You were known to be a cop's cop, but you was also known to have the support of the community. When you stood up for both of those people, they decided to cut your salary. Why?
Well, I felt like it was a personal, sort of attack on me personally because I was disagreeing with the policy that they were putting out about defunding the department, laying off officers. And so arbitrarily, just out of nowhere, there was a suggestion that they cut my salary. And while I didn't like that suggestion, that's not the reason I ultimately left. It was, I just couldn't stay there in an organization where they were going to, strip so many officers of their jobs. And of course, all the things that you mentioned, the rise in crime and the things that have occurred subsequent to that were totally predictable and foreseeable.
Chief, you saw this coming, and as a result, it didn't just happen in Seattle, but as you know, across the country, they use Seattle as a model to establish their own autonomous zones and to use it to defund the police. So my question to you is, how do we get a handle on this?
That's a great question. I think that the pendulum is swinging a little bit more to a more moderate and centrist position, as a number of places are not, you don't hear it as much about defunding the police department because people want safety. They want to be able, it doesn't matter what race they are, they want to be able to call 911 and know if they're a victim of a crime, that someone's going to show up and try to resolve it. Of course, we need to work out some of the issues and make sure that that's a fair and just response for everybody. But people do want to have a police response. So I think now we're looking at how we can utilize other services to help augment maybe some of the issues that are happening, but certainly not defunding the police department.
Yeah. Chief, in your book, you go through what you experienced as a Black woman, as well as being a woman in the police department, but you were able to rise through the ranks and become a chief. You had so many accolades, so many awards. So I guess my question to you is, how do we thread that needle? How do we fight the injustices that may be there, but still realize that we need our cops?
Yeah, of course we need our cops, but we can acknowledge, I think you and I both can acknowledge, the transgressions of the past and the past history, because acknowledging it is part of the step of moving forward. We know that wrongs happened, and now it's time to look at policies and procedures and practices that help us to make sure that we have fair and just practices for everybody. And having more people who represent the communities that we're serving, engaged and involved in policing, and letting people know that it's an honorable profession and we want honorable people in this profession, I think is going to move us a long way. I was a police officer, I should say, for almost 30 years, and I was very proud to have served in that capacity. But I also was an advocate for fairness and justice for all of our communities as well.
Chief, so often the job of policing is all what you do in your career doesn't matter. It's about if you're caught on that tape doing a police shooting. Can you walk us through what those second decisions are like. What is it like putting that vest on, approaching a suspect, and having to make that decision?
Yeah, well, that's the reason that we have so much training involved in policing. Obviously, we know that there are going to be times you're going to confront people who are intent on doing harm. Some people are afraid. You know, you don't know what you're facing. Every single day, every traffic stop could be a nothing, could be somebody who's just made a minor infraction and there's a warning or a citation involved, or it could be somebody who's bent on doing something evil or, you know, hurting the officers. So we give a lot of training to officers about what to look for, things to ask people to do. Often, you know, you want to see people's hands, and people will ask, why do you want to see my hands? Well, because we just want to make sure that there isn't a potential threat there. And so we really go through a lot of training to minimize the potential for an officer to have to use deadly force. That being said, there will be instances where a person's life is threatened, or whether the officer or someone else, and deadly force is the appropriate solution. But clearly, we try to minimize that as much as possible.
You know, Chief, you get 1 second to make these decisions, but then there's 8 months of criticism. And as someone that grew up wanting to be a cop and, you know, have gone through all these police simulation systems and all that, I can't imagine being there on the job.
Yeah, well, that's part of the job, you know, is being able to make those split-second decisions when you have to, being comfortable in knowing that you've had all the training that's necessary. I mean, no one wants to take someone else's life, you know, typically. And so I think the training matters a lot for officers when they're approaching, and I'm a real advocate for that. You know, you're right, it's a split-second decision, and people will, you know, quarterback and look at it for days to come and months to come. But if you've done it rightly and you've done it, you know, justifiably, you know, then the truth will come out.
You know, Chief, we certainly need more leaders like you. I hope you don't become a stranger. I think the nation needs your voice. I think policing needs your voice. And I think the country needs your voice. Thank you so much for joining us on Primetime today.